Dragon's Bread Quick Bites. Really strange stories in a quick bite.
I saw what I saw! I saw what I saw! But no one believes me!
Some people are lucky to know what they want from the start. It's like their purpose beats a drum ahead of them and all they gotta do is follow. But sometimes knowing what you want doesn't mean you'll know where you'll end up. This is Marcelo Mercante's story, and this is the episode we're calling Freedom Trip.
Well, I was like 21 years old and I was studying biology at university. Well, life was kind of okay. When I was a kid, I was always collecting things, bugs, and I love it to go to the beach and stay there looking for animals, much like a naturalist who would do like 100, 200 years ago. I love it to classify, and I created all the kinds of charts and measurements, and my grandfather saw that, and he started to give me books. I had like a scientific mindset. I can remember the feeling the first time I read something, and from that on, my life have been reading. I was the genius of the family. Well, the first time I heard about ayahuasca was on the TV. End of the 80s, the first programs on TV were showing, like, oh, they have these people with this religion in the Amazon, and they drink this substance. And of course, there were some people from TV, like actors, I can say that. And I saw that, said, shit, I want to try that stuff. I was not really interested in the religion itself. I just want to see how it was, altering the consciousness with this other substance. It took me like more than a year to meet someone who could give me like an address. And this guy gave me a phone number, and I called the church, and they had like an interview. Well, I didn't know what to feel, and I didn't feel anything. I start feeling something by the third time. This is the moment they call it concentration. You drink the first dose and you stay singing for like an hour or an hour and a half. Then you have a second dose. They turn all the lights off. You have just candles. It's absolute silence for an hour. Then I had like what they call miração. It's like really a vision. There was a woman staring at me, just waiting for something, In my mind, I was not in the church anymore. And then I came back. I don't know, man. It's hard to say. Like, it's a kind of, if I had connected to God again, something that I left behind in my childhood. They start to realize that more in that world than just the material. I start to get interested in that, how spiritual healing is possible. Then, of course, this took me away from biology. In 2015, I was 45. What I was doing in my life with 45, let's see. I was teaching in a university graduate program on public health. And I saw that show on TV, and I got interested because, look at that. And then I went to the internet, and then comes up with this new thing with, oh, they're giving ayahuasca to inmates. That's something I had never thought about. If I could go there to do a research on that. Well, the first thing I thought when they opened the gate there and I entered in the place where they have like more than 100 inmates. Well, I know how to say in Portuguese, ladrão não tem cara de ladrão. I can't say someone is a murderer just by the face. I was expecting like to go there and look for those guys and see, oh, fuck, this guy look like a murderer, a raper, or something like that, you know. And it's not. But the same judge who approved the ayahuasca program on prison was receiving too much pressure, and he decided to close it. Well, then I had to look for people who participate already outside the jail. Then I went to their homes. There was one specific guy there I interviewed when I was doing my research on addiction. Tom. He had a lot of money. He was a bank robber, and he was in jail for some time, and he was living a really normal, underpaid job. And he didn't want to go back to rob banks anymore, you know. There's one time that he came here, he participated in the ceremony with us, and when he was going back home, he went to a drug dealer's, and he stayed there for 3 days smoking crack cocaine. And then he came here for the next Saturday, and I gave him ayahuasca. After the ceremony itself, he was suffering a lot because the ayahuasca turned them upside down. And another person of the church channel, like receive a spirit, 2 spirits. And she started saying things like, oh, I was asking to the spirit, who are you? How did you die? You know, the first one was a woman, and she got in trouble with her boyfriend, and she killed herself with cocaine. And she had an 8-year-old daughter that she left behind. When I asked her, did you leave something behind, any kind of promise or something that we can help you? The person who was channeling the spirit started crying, you know, like the spirit was crying and said, oh, my daughter. She gave her name. And then the second spirit was the same thing. And it was a guy. He gave his name. He gave the reason of his death. He died under a bridge. After those spirits came, he calmed down. All the things were okay, and left the room. A little bit later, I left after him and said, okay, how are you now? Dan was staring at me like with the open eyes, like, oh, shit. He said, you know, Marcelo, you know those 2 spirits that came there and talked to you? They are 2 deceased friends of mine. And the guy, he was the guy who introduced me to smoking crack cocaine more than 20 years ago. I run a church now.
Big thanks to Lightning Orchestra for the rousing remix of their song Tipping Point. If you want to download the tune, visit our soundtracks page at tuimedia.com. You can also buy their latest release, Source and Deliver, released by Acid Jazz Records at acidjazz.co.uk. Also, if you dig what we're up to, please rate and review the show because it does matter. You can also contribute at our Patreon page at patreon.com/tuimedia.com. Finally, please visit our sponsor at combatflipflops.com. Shirts, shoes, flops, and apparel. Rise up and become a member of the unarmed forces. All right, folks, stay true in the meantime. We'll see you in the next episode.